Right, Year 11. Today I'm going to talk to you about a very important man called Gustav Stresemann. Now, in the previous clip, you were looking at the huge problems that Germany faced from 1919 to 1923, so this is going to lead on a little bit from that. So Gustav Stresemann, he did some amazing stuff for Germany between 1924 to 1929. This period of time is referred to as the golden years, the golden age of Germany, when things were getting quite good again for Germany. So how did this happen? This happened due to the work of Gustav Stresemann. So the first problem we learned from the last clip was that Germany's money was worthless. Okay, hyperinflation caused the money to be completely worthless and something had to be done about it. So Stresemann introduces a new currency, just a temporary measure, called the Rentenmark. So your old money you could exchange for this new Rentenmark, and as I said, this was a temporary measure, and finally in 1924 he then got rid of the Rentenmark and introduced the Reichsmark, and this lasted in Germany for the next 25 years. So that was one way they tackled the problem of hyperinflation, by introducing the new currency system to stop the problem of inflation. The next problem we've got is obviously the French and Belgian troops when they invaded the Ruhr, the industrial heartland of Germany, when Germany obviously stopped making their reparation payments. So that was a huge issue. Germany couldn't keep up with the reparation payments from the Treaty of Versailles. That's the money aspect of your lamb. So Germany had this issue with paying its reparation payments, so something had to be done about that, and this is where you've got the huge policy that was introduced, the Dawes Plan, and that was introduced in 1924. So this is when Stresemann met the American Vice President, Charles Dawes, hence the term Dawes Plan, and they came up with the idea that America would give Germany a loan of money. And the amount of money was 800 million gold marks, so America gave that loan to Germany, and Germany could use that to pay off its reparation payments as a bit of help. It wasn't just the reparation payments that Germany used the money for, but we'll talk about that in a bit. So the next thing that was really good about the Dawes Plan is it reduced the debt from 6.6 billion to 1.8 billion. So they reduced the amount of money they had to pay back as well. So that was obviously a huge benefit for the Germans. Now the next issue that Stresemann faced was Germany's image. So by 1924, Germany's image wasn't the best. They had lost a lot of their status, and they were considered a great power in the late 1800s, but now that image was completely different. So Germany's image wasn't the greatest. So Stresemann had to work to try and improve that image and get Germany to be seen as one of the greater powers and a country that people could trust and look up to. So he did this by a few strategies. The first one was the Locarno Pact, which was 1925. So this was an agreement between, of course, Germany, Britain, France, Belgium and Italy. And this agreement was that these countries promised never to invade each other. So that created better tensions between the countries. So that was one initiative. The second thing was in 1926, Germany was allowed to be part of the League of Nations, a peacekeeping group aiming to obviously avoid another world war from happening. So that was another groundbreaking thing for Germany, especially when the League of Nations was created in 1919, Germany was not allowed to join. So this was a huge achievement for Stresemann. And then the last thing that Stresemann did was 1928, was the Kellogg-Briand Pact. And that was again a promise that countries wouldn't invade or go to war with each other unless they had to defend themselves. So there was 3 good progress steps to try and ensure Germany improved its image. Now the next issue was obviously Germany's factories. They were in trouble, they were vulnerable, not producing as much money, fewer jobs. There was issues with the schools, poor housing, run-down hospitals. The factories were a bit run down as well. Just generally, the industries, the factories, housing in Germany, it was in a poor state. So something had to be done. So remember I talked about the Dawes Plan and how Germany got that money, that loan of money from America. So that money wasn't just used to pay for reparations, it was also used to invest in some new housing, building new houses, factories, hospitals, schools and roads. So some good improvements to the general conditions of people's lives. So that was great. And also American companies, for example Ford, the cars, and Gillette, the best man can get, built their factories in Germany as well. So that was an extra boost for jobs and cash flow as well. So that's the 4 problems that Germany had, and those were the initiatives that Stresemann used to combat these problems.